When you first won the Heisman, who was like one of the biggest people you think that, hit you up?
My relationship with Drake kind of formed after this. After the Heisman, I went on a tear. Through that is what started my downfall as a person and a football player. If you want to do something in life, you have every opportunity to be able to do it. It comes with discipline and hard work and effort. You get out of life, in my opinion, what you put into it.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Untouched Podcast. Today I got a special guest for you guys. He's a Heisman winner. He hangs out with the celebs. He's literally one of the coolest people on earth. I'm on my way to go pick him up right now. Can't wait to show you guys who it is.
Manziel scrambling, trying to get to the end zone. He will do it.
Manziel down the sideline. And Manziel still running out of bounds. No, making a touchdown. Got it. No, they didn't. Oh, my gracious. Yep. How about that? Stunts defensively. Manziel comes left side. Ball wobbles. It's cross. Touchdown. He was going for a touchdown. He didn't want to see another field goal try.
My boy.
My dog.
What's going on,
Thanks
Johnny?
for having me, baby.
Everybody, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Johnny, how you doing, brother?
Man, we're doing great. I'm excited to be here, bro. We've been talking about this for a minute.
I've been anticipating this one for quite a while. How you feeling?
Feeling great. We're in Miami. You know, when you get around people like you get around our boys out here, and you get the right energy and people around you, it makes life and coming
Way
down
easier.
here really, really easy.
That's facts. So I want to talk to you about a lot of things today, but I want to just I want to get into things that even I don't know yet. So where are you from, and when did you get started playing football?
Yeah, I'm from a small town outside of Texas, in Texas, 20,000 people. It's called
Kerrville.
I got into football probably about 12 years old, 13 years old. I was a baseball player my whole life growing up.
And then you switched?
So I wanted to be Derek Jeter. I wear the number 2 because of Derek Jeter. I thought my whole life was baseball. As a kid, you write down on your first, second grade, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
It was always a baseball player. So football for me didn't really take center stage in my life till later, probably like 16.
Like 16?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you first started off in football in high school, what did you play? Varsity out right away? JV? What did they put you at?
I played freshman football to start, and then as that season ended, made a big enough of a mark, a little bit of a splash, that they bumped me up to the varsity team for our playoff run.
Okay.
Man, I'll never forget playing in Alamo Dome in San Antonio, and as a 16-year-old kid, this place for me was like
That was a
the
dream.
mecca of football. You know, I get a chance to go in the game. One of our receivers gets hurt.
So you played receiver?
Receiver to start.
Oh, wow.
One of our boys comes out for a play, loses a shoe, and I'm his backup. And me and another guy who's a junior are playing the backup role for this game. So he comes out for a play, and they're looking at both of us to see who's going to go in. And I'm at the point in my life where just being under these lights and just being in the stadium
It was a blessing.
A blessing,
Yeah.
and the stage was too big for me at the time. So this guy comes out of the game. They say, yo, we need a receiver. And me and the dude who were playing the backup role just stare at each other for like 10 seconds. And they're like, yo, we need somebody in the game. And I just freeze, man. And I sit there and I let him take the rep. He goes in, he takes the rep, he completely runs, he gets the play backwards and runs the wrong route. This is literally my fear as I'm getting ready to go into this game.
Oh, my God.
I let him take it, he runs the wrong route, and as we go back and watch film after we lose this game in our playoff run, if he runs the right route, he probably scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
He probably scores. So this is like, early on, 16, first time getting a chance to go into a stadium like this, 60,000 people. Sheesh. My immediate thing at that point in life was just to freeze. And I think from there on, that's kind of what started my confidence as a football player after that.
Were you like, I'm never going to let that moment?
You never let the opportunity that's meant for you and sat in front of you right there. You see it as plain as day. You see it right.
You let it pass you by.
You let it pass you by and regret and looking at that from away as a kid. This is the moment that you dream of. Seize it. And at that point in time, I shrunk from it. And I think from there is where my confidence level moving forward really started to be like, especially as a football player.
Of course.
If you want to be the guy and you want to do this, go take it. It's up to you. And if you get the opportunity,
it's all about initiative too, I feel like sometimes too. Because if you see the opportunity and you know it's for you and you allow someone else to get it, you don't know when that opportunity might swing itself. You know?
And it may
It may never,
It
yeah.
may never.
So you do varsity. How many offers did you have going into college before you decided that you wanted to play in Texas?
Yeah, so I was like a really slowly recruited, I went all the way into my senior year with like a couple small school offers, but nothing that was really like jumping off the page to me. So I was a late recruited quarterback. I was undersized from a town that not a lot of college coaches came to visit.
Yeah.
We were an hour away from San Antonio.
Were you guys known for football at all, or mostly basketball?
We were known for football probably more than anything.
Yeah.
We were a small school, and this is, and I learned a lot of lessons in life playing for these high school coaches that I played for. It was very hard-ass military style. You show up, you do everything that everybody does. You wear the same clothes as everybody. There's no individual in this organization. It's all a team.
It's all a team.
So I learned so much about that going to the school and being able to play for these coaches. It was really, really special. So as a good high school football player, a guy who is getting some offers, recruiting, it's always your natural inclination to see other guys around getting good offers, going to the school.
Yeah, of course, you start comparing.
You start comparing situations. And for me, I was worried about it, stressing about it going into my last year of school that I didn't really have a home to go to. My junior year, my family flew me out to Oregon, all of us, and we went to visit the University of Oregon and Chip Kelly. And this was right before my senior year starting, and I go to this camp, and they throw me in a line with all these guys, and I run up to the first dude that I see, and this kid's probably like 6'4", 6'5", and I go up to him, I dap him up, I'm like, yo, you playing receiver today? He's like, nah, I play quarterback. And I'm like, 5'11", 170
So now they got you
pounds.
running receiver again.
Okay, they want me to play quarterback. So they throw me in the line with the quarterbacks, but I see this other dude right away, and I'm like, damn, if this is what I'm going up against, I'm like,
it's going to be tough.
But something inside me that day was like, just rock it. Just go out here and do exactly what you do. They knew you were coming out here for a reason. It's a long way from Texas to Oregon.
Yeah, that's true.
I asked this guy what his name is, and he goes, I'm Marcus. And we go through the camp, we do the whole thing, and that guy ends up being Marcus Mariota, who also won the Heisman as well. So we committed to Oregon at the same school originally. So I go back home, my senior year starts, I play 2 games into my season, I'm balling, and Texas A&M offers me. So now I'm at a crossroads. I want my family to watch me play. I want my
hometown.
I'm a Texas boy.
Yeah, you're a Texas boy.
And I didn't have an offer. So I really went to Oregon because of what was going to Oregon is, what their program was, going to national championships, the Nike, the jerseys, the swag, the history. Just for me, it was awesome. And now, 16, 17 years old, I'm faced with this decision. And after talking with my parents, doing the whole thing, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to go to Texas A&M. I don't think it's as good a fit as going to Oregon, but I don't want to see you guys drive 2 hours to Austin to then fly to Portland to then get on a plane and go to Eugene, Oregon. They're just never going to see me. I'm on the other end of the world. So I sit down with my high school coach, and this is just a true test of what kind of man this dude really was.
Yeah.
I sit down with him and I tell him the predicament that's going on. And he goes, I remember it as clear as day, he goes, you're at the point right now where you're growing up and turning into a man. And if you make decisions like this for the rest of your life, I want to leave you with something that'll last. He goes, if you make this decision, you'll pick up that phone right there in my office and you'll call Chip Kelly at Oregon. And you'll explain to him what you just explained to me, that you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and you tell him on the phone pretty much to his face.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. Yeah. This is a respect thing. I wanted to let you know firsthand. And I remember picking up the phone and shaking like a leaf. This is a guy I respected, a coach that I loved, that I had obviously committed to. And I pick up the phone, I'm shaking, and I call this guy and let him know exactly how it is. And as this phone call ends, he's on my ass. He's mad that I'm not coming to Oregon now. So now I'm having to deal with a guy that you respect and love, a coach, kind of jumping down your throat a little bit about how you're making the wrong decision. You hang up that phone and you get off the phone and it's like a breath of fresh air.
It's like hopefully.
But then on the other side of things, I get to pick up the phone and call Mike Sherman at Texas A&M and make his day. So for me, it was a lesson about, in life, hard things that happen. You handle it like a man as best you can. and you just let people know directly.
Yeah, you have to keep it real for sure.
You have to keep it real. You have to be direct. You have to be honest. You have to be upfront. And there's nothing wrong in that with life. And I take that lesson with me.
And you carry it on, exactly.
Every day. It's the only way that I treat people. It's the only way that
you want
I
to
know
be
how to
treated
live
as
life.
well.
It is.
100%.
I mean, as goofy as it sounds, is always the golden rule, and treating people the way you want to be treated is always going to rule
It's cliche,
supreme.
but it is the most
reigns supreme.
Yeah, it is.
Always
it's true.
and forever.
Yeah, I
my
agree.
life has changed because of things like that. It took me 10 years to realize that, 12, 15 years to realize that, but now I try my best to carry that in my day-to-day action for the rest of the time. I feel more free. I feel better in my life just by being honest and upfront and direct. And sometimes it does rub people the wrong way.
Of course, but I feel like it'll only rub the people the wrong way that aren't ready to like reciprocate that energy. You know
or
what
they
I mean?
haven't had that experience in their own lives to know what it is.
That's facts too, because if you don't know, you don't know. It's only until you know that you can choose which way to pick. And that's why I'm never mad at people who don't know. I'm mad at the people that know and choose still not to change.
Because that's blatant disrespect.
There you go, exactly. Like if it happens, it happens. But if you're choosing purposely to make this a problem, you're the problem, you know what I mean? So we go to high school, we end up picking Texas A&M. First season, how does it go?
Terrible. It couldn't go any worse. You know, I graduate early, I get to campus in January. And this is a moment in my life where I'm finally like, you know, I'm moving into an apartment on my own.
You're becoming your own man.
I have a car, I have money, a little bit of money for a college kid, you know, $1,000 in my bank account, like
more than me.
More than I've ever had in my life. So, you know, I had this independence, a sense of freedom, and, you know, that first year for me, I'm not playing, you know, I'm the young guy on the team that's getting, you know, I'm getting fucked with. You know, they're making it hard for the young.
So the freshman bullying is a real thing.
Freshman bullying is a real thing.
Okay.
You know, I'm picking up things for guys in the locker room. I am definitely very much the little like do-it-all guy for the seniors type of vibe.
Of course.
And that first year goes on. We go 6-6, and we play in a bowl game. And at the end of that season, you know, I'm at a crossroads where I have no confidence in my football ability because of the system and coaching staff that I'm around. They're amazing people. I'm just not a fit athletically for what they're doing on the football field. So it's a mesh. It's not a mesh. You know, it's a collision of like
trying to force it in almost.
Of course. And about December of that time, as the season's over, you know, I'm calling baseball coaches that recruited me around the country. And
oh wow! So
I'm trying to maybe make a change. Wow. I'm gonna go play baseball somewhere. You know, I want to go be happy. This isn't it for me, and I'm not doing it. And a day later is where my life changes forever. And they decide to fire our coaching staff at Texas A&M. And you know, we come into the locker room one day.
Oh wow, that must be crazy.
The staff is getting dismissed, and it's my first time in life. Like I committed my 4 years, my 5 years, even though I'm thinking about leaving.
Yeah, of course.
I'm still, you know,
committed.
I'm still committed. You know, I committed. You know, 4 years to go to this school. You know, my family, my dad, my mom, you know, they entrusted this coaching staff to ensure that their son
was going to be safe and respected, of course.
And to grow as a man.
Yeah.
And to be at a place where you can be successful in life. So this meeting goes on, they dismiss all of our coaches. And now the next couple days are like limbo. You know, you're reading Twitter at the time, trying to see who's going to get hired, what news is coming out.
That's
like,
how you guys are finding out.
That's how it kind of goes.
Wow.
And they decide to hire the staff from the University of Houston. And they hire our offensive coordinator as a guy named Cliff Kingsbury, who, you know, was the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Texas Tech Red Raiders, but his, you know, big offensive coordinator start after Houston.
Like upbringing?
Yeah. And he's in this really cool, you know, quarterback system where they're throwing the ball every play. They're leading the nation in passing yards.
Wow.
They're letting it absolutely fly.
Yeah.
So, you know, they decide that they're going to hire the staff, and everything that I thought about the baseball thing or leaving, I said, let me put on hold because of this coach. And let me at least see what he has to say in this team meeting before I make any decisions.
Wow.
Cliff Kingsbury, this coach, made an impression on me when I was in high school. At that point that we were talking about earlier, where I didn't have any offers and I was trying to figure out where I was going to get a good offer from. This guy came out and visited me at one of our practices, and he comes up to me after the practice and he goes, "Man, you're a fucking baller. I don't have any scholarships to offer you here at the University of Houston, but everybody told me how good you were, and I had to come out and see it for myself." Damn. He goes, You may not know what I'm saying right now, but one day down the line, our paths are going to cross again. And I just wanted to show you mad respect and come out here and watch you practice, even though I can't take you as my quarterback.
Damn, that's real.
So now this guy is my coach.
Wow.
And he
That's
sits
so
in this
fire.
meeting room, and within an hour, he has got my full attention. I feel a spark inside myself that this guy will help me be great. That what happened
100%.
before in high school wasn't an accident.
Yeah, it wasn't an
And
accident.
now fate is
that
working in a
day
way
literally led up until
to this
now.
happened.
Wow.
And it's a full circle thing.
Full circle
that
moment.
He comes in, and now this is January. I'm excited. He's teaching us the offense. He's just an unbelievable coach. But on the football field, our relationship and my knowledge of the football side is not translating to good play.
Okay.
So as our spring practices go on, I'm last on the depth chart. Out of 4 guys, I'm number 4. I'm at the bottom of the barrel.
Depth as in what?
As in, we have a first-string quarterback, a
You're
second-string
fourth?
quarterback. I'm 4th.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
3rd.
Okay.
Maybe.
Battling for 3rd, basically.
I am struggling to battle
Wow,
for 3rd.
okay.
So now our spring practice ends in, May, June, and we go away for the summer. I'll never forget it, July 4th. I had to make a decision to go out with some buddies and drink and end up getting too messed up, and I get arrested. Minor in consumption of alcohol, get taken to jail. They make an example of me.
Yes, of course.
So
Was that the first time you ever had a negative headline with law enforcement?
Once in high school, but
all right, that
same
doesn't count.
thing.
I'm
Drinking
college.
at a
College,
party,
though.
first time in college that
Okay.
I've really had any trouble like this. And I get taken to jail. I get out. I walk straight to my coach's office and have this meeting with my mom and my dad and my head coach and Cliff Kingsbury. And we have this deep, long talk about, how I'm, not living right and how, I'm really ruining an opportunity that they believe and think is meant for me. They have belief in me. My
100%.
parents are disappointed. This is not the son they raised. And my head coach looks at me and he's like, we're going to make your life hell until you start to figure this thing out. I'm like, all right, coach, yes, sir. And for the next 2 months at least, I'm going to summer school, I'm going to workouts, and during my day where we normally get a 2-3 hour window to nap, I have to go to the Salvation Army down the street
Oh, my
and
God.
shelf books and take donations.
You had community service down there.
service that my coach put on me and made me go here every day for
Your coach loved you though.
3 hours.
That was good.
It's tough love.
Tough love. That's
now
the
looking
only
back
way.
on it, I hated it and this and that.
That's the only
but
way you grew.
And this is where you'll see the story kind of unravel that nobody knows. I mean, now we're in July, we're in August, and now 2-a-days are going on. And you're in the building at 5 a.m., practice from 7 to 9:30. You get your breakfast, you go to your film meetings, you're done by 12. When everybody's going back home to take a nap, I'm going back to the Salvation Army.
Wow.
So I'm doing this whole thing every day.
Your character's building though.
Also, what they made me do that I didn't know benefited me until later was before every practice, before and after. And if we did 2-a-days, I would do 10 gassers before the practice, 10 gassers after the practice. And if we practice in the afternoon, 10 gassers.
What's a gasser?
Pretty much a 50-yard run. Okay, so you start on one end of the sideline.
Don't tell me
run
50, then
down,
back
and-
40, then back.
Okay, no, you just
Oh,
go
okay.
50 back and then 50 back. And it's like a time of 16, 18
If you don't beat
seconds,
the
whatever
time.
it is. It doesn't count. The rep doesn't count.
God.
So, you do 10 of these before, 10 of these after, so it's 20 a day. And it was a grind, man. 5 in the morning until 6, 7 o'clock at night with all this stuff going on, the
Yeah, of
extracurriculars. So as this fall camp is going on, I'm 4th on the depth chart, battling for 3rd. Well, within 11 days, as this process is going on, I get called in the office and they name me the starter. So I go from the worst standing on the team
way.
to being named the starter of a Texas major college football program.
And who has the power to do that?
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah,
He stood on the table for me and didn't let anything that happened. He didn't let any of what I was doing wrong in life.
Take away from the potential he knew you had as a football player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he believed. It's a thing about belief.
Belief.
When somebody sees, true potential in you, how do I extract that from somebody and also not just extract it, create it in a way to build you to be better.
100%, yeah.
And this guy saw that in me, so I go from last on the depth chart, and in 11 days, I'm now the starter of the Texas A&M football team.
Fire.
And, really from there, first couple games went a little shaky. After our first game, we lose. I come back to my house. I have for sale signs in my yard. This is like a welcome to the
Oh,
SEC.
wow. That
Our
happens.
fan base is crazy at this time. They're longing for success.
This is good. Like, you're getting like the backstory of literally being a college player.
This is me just coming out. I'm obviously upset about the game. I get home and there's 100 for sale signs in my yard. Don't let it get to me. Don't let it affect me. Just go harder.
Let's go harder,
Go back in the gym, do this, get better, learn from the mistakes that you had in this game, and get better.
Yeah.
You know, after that happened, it lit a fire under me to the point of where I started to play the football that I was destined to play. I started running around, throwing, doing exactly what people got to
So it's kind of like the
do.
adversity made you play better.
It did. The adversity, the hard work that I had to put in because I was in trouble, all of this created a perfect
It's like a
storm.
little chip almost. And
It
you're
is.
like, now I'm going to defeat
So now
this chip.
now we're in September. You know, you think back to July, I'm getting out of jail, I'm
Out of
doing all this
jail.
stuff.
Third
on the depth chart.
on the depth chart.
So you fast forward, the season goes amazing. I used to play this video game, NCAA football, and I'd play this thing called the Road to the Heisman. And you pretty much get to create a player, you build him up, and he ends up maybe going to the Heisman
Trophy
Trophy ceremony.
Depending on how how your season is.
So about like week 10 of the season, I'm checking this list that I check every week.
When you started college, though, did you ever?
No, I never thought it was a real like thing. I wanted to be a starter. I wanted to be on the
of
field. I
course.
wanted to play. Never thought the Heisman. It was a dream. I didn't know if it was reality at this point. And week 10 of the season, 9 of the season, you know, we beat Alabama, the #1 team in the country.
I wanted to talk about that.
We can.
So going into that game, though, what was the mindset? You know, you're going to his house, Nick Saban, legend, obviously. This is before, like, you even became who you were. So how did you have that mindset to come into here like, I'm not the underdog, even though we all know, looking outside from the end, that you know what I mean?
Naturally you are. You go look at the line at the sports book. We're 15.5-point underdogs. We're a new team in the SEC that's played a couple good games here and there.
Not to mention
we
you
haven't
starting
reached our full potential yet,
of course.
So this is what people don't know behind the scenes. And, you know, we go into that game, and my mentality, as I remember it, very much one of, what do you have to lose? Everybody in the world is assuming you're going to get beat by 20 points. So what do you have to lose? You know, what is it about, you know, having no fear?
It's almost like nothing to lose but everything to gain.
It's 100%.
Yeah.
You have nothing but opportunity to gain from this if you go out and do what you're supposed to do. So I remember being on the bus as we're driving. You know, we stayed in a different town. We didn't stay in Tuscaloosa, so we're taking like a 45-minute bus ride to the stadium. For some reason, I'm scrolling through Netflix to like kill 45 minutes. And I throw on the movie 300. And
I love that movie.
It felt very much like
you're going to war.
Gladiators going against this whole army of success and national championships.
Credibility.
With a guy like Nick Saban, they have the juice. Yeah. They are the pinnacle at this point of college football. So this movie, I see it, I throw it on, and I remember this quote from it as we're pulling into the stadium, and it comes to the part of the movie, and it says, "Give to them nothing, but take from them everything."
Yeah.
And I remember feeling this chill go down my body, like, damn, we're about to do something special today. I ain't got no fear.
You felt it.
I want all of this hate. I want to embrace all of this madness and chaos and 105,000 people, and I want to shut you the fuck up.
Yeah.
To where you can hear a pin drop in this whole stadium.
Silence it.
Silence. All the doubters, all the everything. Give to them nothing, but take from them every single thing.
Would you say that was the biggest game of your career?
Absolutely. Without a
doubt.
You know, this game goes on. We score 3 touchdowns. We're up 20-0, and it's
I like
just
the
a
half,
crazy
right?
game.
Kind of remember
like
some of that game.
Like, up like 20 to maybe 14 or something, 20-10, and you know, it's dead quiet in this place. There, you can feel the energy. It's sucked out of the building. And this is a place that, Alabama is a place that has amazing fans. They have energy. They have passion, and they're rowdy. So if you get this place to be quiet like this, you're
doing something. Yeah,
you're doing something that
amazing.
they're not accustomed to being in this situation, you know? So this game goes on. We win in a crazy, dramatic fashion.
I remember like the final drive, they almost had a chance to score.
To come back. We had a pick. So this was like I remember this game, and everybody remembers it as me. And I remember this game as
that defensive play.
Total team effort. Yeah. You know, we scored a lot early. We kind of stalled throughout the middle of the game. We relied on our defense. So you have offense working, defense working, and then the last drive of the game, we're trying to run out the clock. And we get stopped on third down, and there's like a minute left in the game. So we're going to have to punt the ball back to them. They have all the momentum, and we had been working on this play in practice where we get the defense to jump off sides on their punt team.
Oh, wow.
So they jump, they call a flag, we get a first down, the game's over. So offense working, scoring those points early.
Defense working.
Defense with a pick, and then special teams at the end to get this penalty to seal the game
To
where
seal
they don't
the
get
game.
the ball back.
Yeah, don't get it back. Wow.
So like a complete team
effort.
effort that everybody remembers and looks back as like that's the day Johnny football was made.
Yeah.
But in reality, the way I view it,
It's like that's when Texas
A&M
was
start
born.
and the SEC
Yeah.
was meant to be.
That's
It's not-
true.
It's, never,
It's crazy how,
it's
depending
never a
on
Johnny
where you
Manziel
are in the
thing.
story, you have a different
Of
perspective.
course.
That's
There's
fire.
perspective on everything.
You
And
know what I
everybody
mean?
looks at it as a Johnny Manziel thing, when in reality, it's a Texas A&M thing.
But it's a good
and
thing that
always
you
has
look at
been.
it that way, though. You know what I mean?
That comes with time.
Yeah,
That
of
comes
course,
with
of
age,
course.
That comes with experience. That comes with, what comes further down the line in life that sets you back.
100%.
In my view of life, and the way it is.
So we beat Alabama. What's next?
Next, after that, is going back home. Flying.
Obviously, the politics are talking.
They are. but
Everybody's.
As we win this game, we
Yeah.
fly back in after the game. It was a night game, so we get back into College Station at maybe 2 in the morning. And as we're flying in, I look down out the window, and our stadium lights are on. And you can see this crowd of people around the stadium.
Wow.
And they're like welcoming us back after beating the number
you
one
guys just
team
won
in the
a bowl.
nation. Like we just won the Super Bowl. And I'll never forget that. Next day I'm waking up and I see this Heisman list that's on ESPN. And I'm third in their hypothetical voting. So now this dream is getting inched closer to being a reality. We have 2 games left in the season. If you go win these 2 games, I get to go to New York, most likely. I'm going to New York for the Heisman ceremony. I'm taking my family.
Wow.
This is dream.
And like, regardless if you win it or not, you still get to do
I'm
the
going.
experience.
I get
Yeah.
to go meet the biggest legends that have
ever
ever
touched the
existed
field,
in my
yeah.
life. In my life, college football was a dream. Getting to go do this, the Doug Flutys, the Charles Woodsons, the craziness. So as the season ends, 2 games left, we win both of our games.
Winning both of the games.
I finished my season on as high a note as you can as a freshman. I'm leading the SEC in rushing. I'm making these plays that are on ESPN every single day. And I sit there and I'm like, you know what? I can hold my head high. I think I'm going to get the chance to take my family to New York, no matter what happens.
What happens? I have a question. Did you think you were going to win?
Okay, so there's 1 game of the season left. Our season's over. The guy who is in first place, and this is all a hypothetical list that they make, but this guy named Colin Klein from Kansas State is number 1 on the list. They're undefeated. He's having a great season too, and they have 1 game left in the season. They play the Baylor Bears, and I'll never forget where I was at this moment. I'm watching it with all my buddies, and I'm sitting talking to my friends. I'm like, I need Kansas State and Colin Klein to get whooped today.
I
need them to get beat by 20, and I'm going to have a chance to actually win this thing. This game goes on. They get beat by like 20 points. He doesn't have his best game, but it's leaving a sour taste in everybody's mouth as the way the season ends. Now there's chatter. So as the
Not to mention you were a freshman.
A freshman. So also the Heisman Trophy had never had a freshman that
winner
won it
in history.
Ever in history, 100 years.
Jesus.
So there was a very big bias that a freshman couldn't win it. That people wouldn't vote for a freshman because it wasn't a freshman award. When in the grand scheme of things, it's about the best, most deserving football player in college.
Season, yeah.
I remember getting that envelope. Congratulations, you're invited to the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York City.
Wow. What a day.
I mean,
Gives me goosebumps. It's crazy.
I
I
get to
can only
call my mom and
imagine.
my dad, and I'm like bawling my eyes out, man. And I'm like,
Pure emotion.
yeah, I get to go to the Heisman. I get to take you, and I get to bring my entire family. And my family's deep, man. Like,
I can only imagine.
I bring 15 of my family members, and we go to New York.
Oh, wow.
Now you're sitting there and you're walking and meeting people. It's like the ultimate moment, pinnacle of my life. This is everything that I've ever wanted. And I'm 18 years old.
100%.
I'm walking in Times Square. Texas A&M has a billboard of me in Times Square that they
so
pay
young,
and wishing
bro.
love and support and pulling for me. And man, it's still to this day, it makes me super, super emotional. And behind the scenes, you have this bias going on. Can this kid win it? So I don't know.
So you're
I
there.
know 2 days before the trophy happens, before the ceremony is, there used to be this website that this guy would hit up enough voters and kind of find out on his own who was going to win. And for the last 8 years in a row,
he was right.
He was right. And I remember not wanting to check it, but I couldn't help myself.
And
so I got on this website. It was called HeismanPundit.com, and this guy had got 80% of the votes. And at 80% of the votes that he had tallied, I was the winner. I was going to win. So if he had guessed correctly the last 8 years,
more than likely, more than likely.
This is what I'm thinking. I'll never forget my heart dropping to my chest. I'm like, oh my God, this is a reality. And I had wrote this speech before I left to go on this trip. From that second forward, I didn't want to let this be an opportunity in my life that I let slip away.
That you weren't prepared for.
Like I wasn't prepared
for that moment. You weren't for that first time in high school, yeah. But I want to quote that real quick. It's crazy how you use lessons from the past to use it in your future thing. Exactly. A lot of people will have lessons and not apply it to new opportunities. It's good that you did that at such a young age.
Well, the thing is also, I mean, if you're continuing to make the same mistakes again that you know are wrong, it's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, not learning from your situation. It's a crazy thing to do, thinking you're going to get a different result from what you know, because life has shown you what it is. So I sat in that bathroom in New York and just talked in the mirror to myself about this speech over and over and over and over, to the point of when I sat there in that room, my family, my coaches, everybody, and this buildup of anticipation that happens for this award. It's an hour-long show. It's completely private. You know, they walk through the contestants and this and that, and they paint everybody's story and picture, and at the very end, 10 minutes before it's over, they announce the winner. And I remember sitting there in that chair.
But literally no one knows, though.
No one knows?
No one knows.
It comes straight from a very secure
So you guys all find out at the same time?
At the same time. Everybody does.
Did you, be honest, do you think anyone else used that website you did? Like that was
that was
part of the Heisman?
No, the Heisman hated it because it kind of gave away for 8 years in a row, it kind of gave away their thing. And they ended up coming to terms with the guy later and telling him, like, come on.
Yeah.
This is history. Ridiculous. This is legendary.
Yeah, of course.
Keep the aura and
keep it genuine.
Keep it genuine. Keep it organic. And I knew.
You knew.
I knew. And what a special moment to have her call my name and be able to go up on that stage and, thank my family, thank those coaches.
It's crazy,
thank my teammates.
Winning the Heisman are damn near probably lower than the lottery.
I think there's 110 of us in the world, or maybe 50,
and then
60
you count, and then you
living.
divide by how many people have played in the college.
How many people have been a college quarterback? How many people have got to, it's such
That's what's up, bro.
I mean, what a blessing. I get to go up there, I get to pick up this trophy, and I get to live my dream. I get to thank my teammates. I keep my trophy at my grandma's house. I keep it back home in Tyler, Texas. Another guy, Earl Campbell, who won the Heisman back in the day, is from the same hometown as me. So this little town in East Texas
got two Heismans.
Wow.
That's what's up.
And it's awesome. Me and him have a great relationship. And, you win. I go see my family. And then the next night, they throw you a big party. So it's on this yacht in New York, and I'm bringing 15 of my family members. My family likes to party. At this point, we got the trophy,
of course.
We get to celebrate, and it's one of the most special things, seeing all the past Heisman winners in your family, and they welcome you into the fraternity.
Yeah, it's community.
And my family still to this day may be the best party people that they've had ever. Everybody would say it to this day. They're like, your Heisman year was probably one of the greatest you've ever had. And your family was amazing. They celebrated it. They embraced it. At that point in time, I felt like my family was deserving of that trophy. I felt like, we were worthy and deserving of this celebration to do what nobody else had done before. Ever in the history of the award.
Freshman, and you won it.
And you won it.
So you go to New York, you do your party. Season pretty much wraps.
Okay, we have one game left. We have the bowl game left. And we're the number 5-6 team in the country. We're not getting into the national championship game. So we are playing the Oklahoma Sooners, who had been a rival of us in a different conference the years before. And my redshirt year that I didn't play, the year before my Heisman year, we played Oklahoma, and they beat the hell out of us. And it was at their place. They were rude. It was cold. It was miserable. And now we get to play them in Cowboy Stadium on New Year's Day in front of the whole world.
Oh, man. All the lights.
These ESPN and news
Everyone.
people is like, this guy's been out partying. He doesn't care about football. This trophy might not be really his. All this chatter.
Oh, this is in the chit-chat talk. Because not only did you win it, but now it's like, did he deserve to win it?
It is.
Okay.
Does he deserve to win it? What is the stand? You
Yeah.
know, these other guys were very deserving as well.
Of course.
You know, there's always going to be that.
Yeah, of course.
So
going into this game already for sure.
During this time, Texas A&M is like sending me on a little bit of a media tour. You know, so I'm not going to as many practices. I'm having to fly to go do Jay Leno and.
Oh, this is when the
Tonight
publicity.
Show. This is
okay.
when the pub starts.
This is when the celebs started paying interest. Okay.
Correct. So I'm not as like at practice or involved with my team, but my boys know what it is.
Of course.
I'm flying back off the plane from Jay Leno, and I'm running straight to practice.
Yeah.
Straight there to talk to my guys and let them know that I'm here for them, and we still have business left.
Yeah, of course.
To attend to. We got the opportunity to go into Jerry World, Cowboy Stadium, 110,000 people against a team that embarrassed us the year before. It's our time for revenge, and you got the best player in the country on your side. So let's work. We devised this great game plan, and we go into this game. And this doesn't get any bigger. It doesn't get any better of a stadium.
Yeah, all lights
This is
are
where
on.
the boys play, man. For a Texas kid, this is Texas, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, right across the border.
This is it.
We're driving 2.5 hours up. They're driving 2 hours down. Let's meet in the middle and let's get it
Showdown,
rocking.
Yeah.
And at the end of this game, I rushed for 226 yards, a Cotton Bowl record.
Rush.
Like 550 yards of total offense.
Wow.
And we win like 40.
You went off.
We went 49-20. Went off in Jerry World, in front of the world, and
What a way to
silenced
end
everything.
Heisman, and then you end with that game.
And
Oh
with
my
that,
God.
We finished the number 4 team in the country with the Heisman Trophy and with a win over our rival like that.
Flying.
A team that embarrassed us. Life is at an all-time.
You're soaring.
Life is at an all-time high.
You're soaring.
It doesn't get any better.
When you first won the Heisman, who was like one of the biggest people you think that, you know, hit you up to kind of like, let me meet this Johnny guy that everyone's talking about?
Yeah, so my relationship with Drake kind of formed after this. You know, that bowl game ends January 1st. I go back to college. Our semester starts like January 10th, 15th, something like that. And OVO is starting to make merch.
Wow.
We're starting to do the Owl hoodies.
So this is early OVO stage.
Early,
okay.
very. This is
Take
January
a little
2013.
bit.
This is
13.
right after Take
Care.
Care. Nothing was the same as just coming out.
Wow.
And from high school on, I'm reading Drake's blog every single day. You know, it's the home page of my laptop for my class, like going to school, I have my
that's
laptop.
fire.
It starts off octobersveryown.blogspot.com. I'm the biggest Drake fan in the world. And you see these hoodies, they're like $120. And as a college kid, I'm like,
Fuck. Yeah.
Steve. Check the bank account, I got like $350. I'm like, buying it.
Buying it.
100%, gotta have it. This hoodie comes, and at this point, social media is kind of starting to take off, and Twitter is a real thing. So I'm literally hopping on Twitter. Damn, James Harden plays for the Rockets. Let's just tap the button. Just press follow.
Yeah.
Man, I'm with my boys. 30 minutes later, it says follow back. I'm like, are you kidding me? So this kind of comes like a running joke between my friends.
Is that for all the dogs?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, fine.
So it's kind of like a running joke between all my friends. I'm like, damn, who can we get access to? Who can we like get in contact to? So I hit up James Harden. I'm like, yo, I want to come to a Rockets game. He's like, bet, say less, bring your boys. Amazing. As I'm getting dressed, I'm like, oh, I gotta wear this hoodie. I gotta wear this OVO hoodie.
Yeah. It's only right.
It's the nicest thing I own.
Yeah, that's right.
I go to the game. I'm chopping it up.
Fire.
With James, they're playing the Clippers. This is like the height of Lob City days.
Lob
Blake
City,
Griffin,
Chris Paul,
Chris
yeah.
Paul, DeAndre Jordan. He went to A&M, so he's an Aggie. So they walk me down to the court. I'm saying what up, and I get a picture taken of me in this OVO hoodie. You know, the next day I checked my school email, like for class or whatever, and I get this email from Nico at the October's very own blogspot.com. From the Drake website.
Yeah.
And I know the whole crew at this point.
Of course.
I've been to concerts and I'm saying their names as they're walking
Yeah,
by.
because Drake puts them in there, in his raps.
In his raps
the real
and
one.
everything. So I see this Neeks and I'm like, I know Neeks. This email pretty much says, yo man, I saw a picture of you with the gear at the game yesterday. You Me and the boy and we call Drake the boy.
I met the boy a few times.
Me and the boy want to personally thank you. Most people in your position would ask for free things and they wouldn't support out of genuine love. And
Fact.
he's like, anytime you want to come to Toronto, book a flight. We'll take care of the rest of the stuff when you get here, but you're more than welcome with us anytime. And this for me is another dream come true. So now my dreams of what I never
Won
thought
the
would happen
Heisman.
or one by one, I get to meet the only person that I want to meet. Only celebrity I want to meet.
That you actually
genuinely have love for and rock with.
Before you met him.
Before.
Yeah.
Before I even get the chance to find out what kind of person he is.
Yeah.
So my spring break's coming up. I spend every dollar in my bank account to make sure I can go to Toronto.
Of course.
I get there, I'm nervous, man.
Of course.
I'm in a different country. I land. My mom's like, where are you? I'm like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I caught a flight to Toronto and I drove this morning at 4 a.m. to get to the airport. I'm going to come meet Drake. And she's like nervous. I'm in a different country with a rapper she doesn't know. And I'm just like going off and starting my journey into life by myself. And I text Neeks. He comes and picks me up. We go to Soto and Yorkville and Toronto. And Drake walks in. And I'm at the point in my life where I got this Drake verse tatted on my ribs, never forgetting from where I came, and no matter where I'm headed, I promise to say the same. And, we're sitting there chopping it up, like, I'm eating pasta, drinking wine at 19 years old with Drake in Toronto. Like, you get to the point in the night where, like, we're probably going to dip, go do whatever, and he asked me where I'm staying, and I remember being like, Holiday Inn. Like, somewhere really basic, all I could afford at the time.
because you didn't have money yet.
And no bread.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. That's not how we rock. He goes, give me your room keys. I'm like, and
that's crazy.
He sends his security to go to my room, pack my things, and he puts me up at the 5-star Hazelton in Yorkville where he's living at. And just like from that moment on, I'm in the back of the Maybach every time with him. We're sitting there smoking a joint. He's showing me around the city.
That's real love right there.
Like real love.
That's real love.
And I left that trip, obviously, dream come true.
And it goes to show you how far supporting people without them knowing can take you, because you were just buying something out of genuine love. You never knew that jacket would come back in the way it did.
I never knew that one decision to spend that money that I had that was a lot for me
Which
at
was
the
a lot
time
for you. It was
would
like
come back
half
in
your net
full
worth.
circle. It was half my net worth.
And then you went to Toronto and spent even more money.
Yeah. And it had nothing to do with the money, and I don't rock with the money like that. Like, the money is a tool in life to give you freedom. It gives you the opportunity to have comfortability, less stress, less anxiety.
1000%.
But by no means necessary is it what makes me tick.
Yeah, of
Do
course.
I need it? Sure.
Yeah.
Everybody needs it.
Everyone needs it.
It's a form of currency that makes the world go
around.
But at the end of the day, it's not the end-all, be-all for me, nor will it ever be in my life.
100%.
I've had the opportunity to go play in the NFL, make a good amount of money. It's a blessing in itself. And the reason I think I've learned the lessons I have about money is because I came out to this city and saw this lifestyle, and I started spending it.
You started spending it.
I had dreams of what I wanted to do on more than just a football field. I had parties that I wanted to go to that I had seen on TV or seen on social media.
Things you wanted to accomplish.
Things I thought would fulfill me in life and give me purpose.
Until you started getting
Until you do it. Yeah. And then once you do it, you're left with a sense of, this isn't what makes you whole. This isn't what really genuinely provides substance in your life to make you a better person.
Yeah.
And it's fun, but it's shallow, short-term, temporary happiness.
Yes.
And I started filling my life with this, one after another, after another,
and
after
this
another.
Is still as you're about to escape, or you're still kind of thinking football's for me?
I'm still thinking football's for me because a lot of this happened during my second season at Texas A&M.
After the Heisman.
After the Heisman, I went on a tear.
Yeah.
I went on a...
You spun the world around.
Yeah, I did. Through that is what started my downfall as a person and a football player. And, luckily I'm at the point in my life today where I'm able to reel that back in and get to a point of wholeness, of back to myself. But for a long time, I was lost and looking for a way to find myself again. And it was a long, maybe 5-6 year journey for me to get back to the point of where, I could get back on my feet and live real life again. And it is deep, and I learned a lot of lessons. When you're going on this quick meteoric rise to the top of the college football world.
course.
And now, not only did I win the
Heisman.
Heisman, but I'm in draft conversations. So now I'm getting drafted. So now I get
Hanging out
drafted
with
in
the
the first
biggest
round.
people in
I'm
the
hanging
world.
out with superstars and celebrities.
It's a lot for a 21
For a 21-year-old
kid, bro. That's a lot.
You know,
It's a lot of pressure on anybody.
It was, and it would be on anybody. And I didn't do myself any favors at the time of, staying grounded, staying humble at that point in my life. You get to a point when things like this happen where things are expected of you, but you also expect things of everybody else because the way the world is working around you.
At that current moment.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Until it doesn't.
Until it comes back to where, those good traits you had about respect and treating people the right way kind of go out the window, and you create this sense of entitlement with yourself that is not reality.
At all.
Nobody on this earth is bigger than the next person that you're sitting to.
100%. When you see a janitor, it should be the same respect.
That's what my
When you
father
see
told
the
me from
CEO,
day one. You
always
treat the
true.
janitor the same way as you do the CEO. You can call all these things in life that we're talking about
Literally,
cliche,
but
call it what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I call it? Fact.
Yeah. It's the foundation of life.
It's the foundation of what good souls and good people are built on.
100%. And it's crazy that you can full circle moment from the little lessons that you learn from and then the ones you didn't learn from. You got to learn from both of them because you're going to be W's and there's going to be L's no matter what.
100%.
It's just trying to change that L into a way where you can view it as a win because ultimately it still is. It still is,
You do something wrong.
You get your heartbreak. All right,
okay, so
cool.
here's the example. Here's the example. I get drafted. I go to Cleveland. Things don't pan out. Now I get cut. I remember the day of watching the TV, not even finding out from the team that I'm getting cut. So now I have my biggest fear in life coming to reality. Failure.
You're a failure.
I'm embarrassing my family name. I am failed on what so many people have expected me to do great. I have let everyone down and I have failed. So now a biggest lesson, my biggest fear in life comes true right in front of my face. And at this point, I'm terrified in life.
You feel defeated.
I run. I get as far away from Cleveland as humanly possible. I go to LA and I just start drowning sorrows and shallowness and this and that.
You start chasing all the things.
Start chasing the high of life. They have no purpose and no fulfillment. They may be fun, but it's fleeting temporary happiness.
Yeah.
And, you look at this ride and on the way up, I don't know how much I necessarily learn about life. But as this starts to peak and bad things are happening, now I'm starting to learn what life is really about.
Yeah.
That it's not all rainbows and butterflies, that it's not easy, that it's a grind to get up every day and have to go through this life, and it's easier for some people than others.
Of course.
But it's still this journey of life.
Journey, yeah.
Good, bad, everything in between. So to wrap this up with what we're talking about, I had the opportunity in my worst moment to learn about life and to learn about it's okay to fail.
And it's crazy that even though you were at such a high level, you were still learning little lessons about life.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there from
know
my
what I
perspective at 21 years old
happens
thinking
to
I
the
have
big-
all the
happens
answers.
to
I think I have all the
everybody.
answers too. I really
Wow,
do.
bro.
And, things start to go bad. Now I'm making it worse. And, I'm getting to this point in my life where I don't even know if I want to continue to keep living this life.
Yeah.
I'm having thoughts of really deep, dark thoughts about if I can continue doing this. I meet this girl, end up getting engaged really, really quickly, and she starts to change my perspective on how beautiful life can be.
Yeah, what's important.
And what's important and, slowing things down and doing this. And, at that moment, I think I started this long journey of repairing myself, repairing my soul, repairing my mind, and reverse the course and learn more about life, that I don't have all the answers, that my story is very far from finished, and just because football didn't work out doesn't mean I have to hang my head.
At all.
It doesn't mean that I have to be embarrassed.
It's just part of your journey.
And it is.
And
I didn't realize at the time because I had only known football.
You were only,
and I thought that this was my destiny for what it was. And now I sit here today thinking that maybe my biggest thing in life hasn't even come yet. Yeah. Maybe I've done so many great things, or what people view as great
things.
And maybe there's something bigger out there for me. Maybe
so.
God has plans for me to do something to affect people's lives in a way, or maybe I don't even know what it is yet.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to be ready and willing and able when that opportunity presents itself.
Because you prepared yourself for it.
But until then, I'll continue to be as self-aware as I can, as honest as I can, as the best energy that I can possibly have, and create a vibe, an aura that is infectious.
I would say an aura also that your aura now that you present yourself, because I've seen you out, is like you're respected outside of being Manziel. You're just Johnny, you know? Like when I met you, I met Johnny.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed that I didn't have to meet that other version because I know the version of you now and I love the version of you, you know what I mean? And I respect you for that. One thing I want to say is like if you had to like give out advice to anybody that is just not even lost in the world but want to become something great, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we live here in the States, in a country that, you know, opportunity presents itself, and it really comes down to this. If you want to do something in life, you have every opportunity to be able to do it. It comes with discipline and hard work and effort. You get out of life, in my opinion, what you put into it. Yeah. Obviously, some people are more well off or in a better position. But there's something to be said about when things don't necessarily go right for you whenever you want them to stay at it, stay determined, and stay consistent with what your original goal and dream is. And eventually, in my opinion, if you work hard enough, you put in enough effort, and you keep the main thing, what your goal, centrally focused ambition of what you want and what your dream truly is, if it's truly meant for you, and you truly believe it enough and you work hard enough at it, you can create your own reality.
You can create your own reality.
I believe, in your
100%.
opinion, you are a walking, true, prime example of that.
Yeah, I am.
And that's the way I view you, in
your
own way.
Yep.
Because everybody's story is their own. Everybody's journey is their own. We're on this journey in life together.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
but
true.
At the end of the day, it's still individually tailored to each and every one of you.
And the way that I was brought up shaped me into a reality that somehow fit your reality, because I look at it as if you did maybe go over here and play 5 more years or did whatever, I would have never even met you.
And we wouldn't be sitting here today.
You know what I mean? And I feel like my reality is destined for whatever's supposed to come. So it's meant to be this way. And if you stop trying to challenge the way your reality is and accept that it is the way it is, that's when it'll become your own reality. But if you're not even accepting the one that you're living in, then how are you gonna have it? You know what I mean? You can't. You can't do both. All right, I want this, but then again, I'm thinking of this reality. It doesn't work like that.
You really want this, and your focus and your energy and your passion, your effort is around that and on that. It will be, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
If you say you're focused on this, but your actions and your words and your energy and your effort are going somewhere else, this can't be.
Yeah, it won't make sense.
It won't. And I believe the universe won't allow you to have that ability
at all,
because you're not giving what this asks or deserves.
It requires too.
Requires.
What are you doing now? What do we do these days? Yeah.
I think I've been in the point for the last 2 years where I'm finding purpose and passion again in life. I've been looking for something in my life that gets me out of bed every day, that gives me excitement in life to work and do all these things that I'm talking about.
For sure.
And last year I made the decision with one of my homies to go a little bit into the bar business. I ended up buying a bar in College Station that is now hopefully progressing into more.
Yeah.
And my goal moving forward in life is to start getting involved in business. A little late, but better late than never,
of course.
And my energy and focus of what I truly feel my passion is moving forward is on my university. I love Texas A&M. I love the school. I love and appreciate
what it did for you and who it shaped you to be.
You know, it was never a Johnny Manziel thing. It was always a Texas A&M thing.
Of course.
From the team, from the school, the love that I receive, that's what makes me whole. And I went to one of our bowl games a couple weeks ago, and our team's kind of struggling a little bit. We're in not the greatest bowl game. It's in Houston. It's kind of a down year for us. I go to the game, show support, and I'm finding myself cheering for this game and rooting for this game that may not really mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but I'm out of my seat. Like, I'm excited to be here.
The passion's still there. That's beautiful.
And when I left there, I was like, you know what? I want to divert all my energy and my effort into this place.
Yeah.
It's the place that I got my start at, the place that shaped me as the person that I am today. So, I started with this bar as something that I thought, maybe like cool, and it was like significance for me to be able to buy something that I got to do when I was in college.
College, yeah,
And it was
100%.
like, now I get to be on the other
Like
side
a
of
side
things.
mission.
It's full circle,
Yeah,
of course.
side mission.
And now that's kind of turned into something. So I think, I'm deploying my resources, my effort, my energy on the business side back into this school, back into this university, and I'm going to try and create something great with it. I'm going to try and achieve and create greatness that'll originate out of there.
Yeah. And I honestly think you have a powerful story, and your words impact people more than you may think of it.
Probably
so. I think using that into anything else that you go into is going to be a win for you. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Man, it's starting to get any better than this, man.
Yeah,
this
guys,
is free game.
you heard it here first. Johnny Manziel interview. I appreciate
Thanks
you,
for
my
having me,
boy.
baby. It's always,
Back of the Back podcast. Like, subscribe, comment, all that. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.